it's James Gwilliam, and today you join me for the coronavirus Q&A, or the Quarantine Q&A, or the title is yet to be decided. However, I did post a video asking for the questions. I posted on Instagram and I posted on Twitter. No one replied to me on Twitter, so if you're not on my Twitter, then get on there, because I like to be active, so make sure we're all following me on Twitter and Instagram, as well as subscribing to me on YouTube. Anyway, plug of my social media is now done. I'm going to start with the questions from YouTube and then go to the questions on Instagram, and I'm going to try and answer all of them today. I've not had any previous thought of them. It's all going to be off the top of my head. I'm not going to have any research in front of me. They're all just sat there on my laptop just off camera. So to start with, from the questions from YouTube in the comment section of the video, the iCard probably should have popped up by now somewhere, but if you can, go watch that. Anyway, now getting into it. What made you start YouTube? Now, obviously, this is, I don't know, it's probably one of the most difficult questions to answer, because I've wanted to do something along the lines of YouTube for years. I've got some of my best friends will tell you that I've had many starts at YouTube. I've done many one-off videos that haven't been very good, and I've always had these cool ideas, but I've never actually put them into practice. And end of November sort of last year was when I decided, right, I'm going to just have a go at this YouTube thing, and I'm going to keep at it. I'm going to stick at it and see if I can make anything of it. And obviously I am passionate about cars. I really like making the content. It's obviously difficult in these times, but it's one of my things I like to do, really, is make content, especially revolving around cars. And that brings me on to the next question, which is what made me want to base my videos around cars. And simply put, they're my thing, basically. So some people enjoy, what do other people enjoy? Some people enjoy other things, but I enjoy cars. Cars is my thing, that's my passion. That's what I enjoy being around, I enjoy doing, I enjoy learning about is cars, basically. So if I was going to do a channel, I want to do it about cars. My dream sort of career, in a sense, is to be able to earn enough money to just do fun stuff with cars and entertain other people while I'm doing it. Hence, why I made it start YouTube, why my videos around cars, kind of that thing, really. I'd love to, if that stopped my video, I'm going to be so annoyed. It's why you charge you professional. I won't even cut that bit out because I was mid rant. However, basically, yeah, so my dream is to be able to make a living in entertaining people by doing fun stuff with cars. Essentially a little bit like Top Gear. Yeah, that's what I want to do. So as soon as I've got a budget for it, I'd love to do crazy fun challenges, crazy fun things, loads of different cars. Basically, yeah, I'd love to earn enough money to be able to do that as my job. So that is why I started YouTube and why I base my videos around cars. As a very long first two questions, I'm thinking it might be a longer video, but I'm trying to get through all of the questions for you guys. Next one. Am I planning any special collabs in the future, and what are they? So yes, obviously the obvious answer is yes. I'd love to do collaboration videos with other creators. I have a good friend, his channel is called ItzHazza. He's also part of a channel called roadmapsquad, so the links will be in the description to those channels. And they do some cool sort of outdoor content. They did this video called Roulette, which was quite fun. And I chatted on a podcast video with him. Again, link to that podcast and the best moments will be in the description. And basically, we chatted about collaborations especially with him and the other channel, in that podcast. And essentially, public transport based challenges against cars and things like that, where basically we can just come together, make fun content, and hopefully benefit both parties by doing so. So mainly I've got those collabs. All the other collabs that I know of, a good friend I've already done collaborations on the channel with is Josh. His channel is JussJosh. Again, link in the description. We did the F1 videos with him. So again, more collaborations with him and to do with his channel. He does a lot of gaming stuff, and obviously, as you can see by this here, I'd quite like to move into a little bit of gaming because it's something that I'd quite like to be better at. So yeah, so those two people, I'd love to collab with them. And in terms of other special collabs, I'm not too sure. It just, again, depends on what opportunities arise. I'm still a really, really small channel at the minute. I'm grateful for all of you guys that do watch. But I think a lot of channel creators are potentially out of my reach at the minute. But yes, there are collaborations planned, and I love the idea of doing many of them. So, next question. What events do I plan on going to in the future? Now, the coronavirus, the global pandemic, yes, it's important to stay safe, but I think I'm also allowed to have a little bit of a rant about how I can't go to all the events that I had planned to go to. So you've got, there's a classic restoration show at the NEC that's been postponed. Goodwood Festival of Speed has been postponed. Many motorsport events have been postponed, like the British Touring Cars, British GT. Car meets have been postponed or cancelled. It's shocking right now. But after the lockdown is lifted and we're all allowed to go outside and everyone's okay again, we've got through the other side of this pandemic, like I know we are, I plan on going to as many events as I can. Those videos seem to do well on my channel, and they are the best performing videos on my channel. So again, I will continue to do those as soon as I'm allowed, and I really enjoy going to the events and creating content from them. So basically, what events do I plan on going to in the future? All of them, basically. As many as I can go to, as many I can afford to go to as well. Next one, the difficult one for me, I did actually think about this one a little bit, is a subscriber goal by the end of the year. Now, currently on 44 as I'm making this video. So it's not a massive amount, but also a lot more than I thought I'd be in this short space of time. I've only been doing it a few months. So again, I love the idea of special videos. I have one planned for 50 when I do eventually get there. So if you're not subscribed already, please subscribe, because that video will be coming as soon as I'm allowed to go outside, because it involves going outside. But that video will be coming. I have one planned. Again, I think 100 would be a nice number to be at by the end of the year. However, ultimate dreamland, completely unrealistic goal would be 1,000, because then monetization can happen and I can start putting some more budget into videos that isn't my own, and it sort of makes it a lot easier to make content. But realistically, I think 100 would be a really nice number to be at by the end of this year. Next, have I ever wanted to learn how to ride a motorbike? Now, obviously, this channel is called automotive content, and motorbikes are part of automotive world. Yes, is the answer to that. They've never been. I've always preferred cars. I've always thought certain bikes were cool. I'm not too much into them, so I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between certain bikes. However, it's something that in the long-term future I'd love to do, maybe as a series. But yeah, it's probably not going to happen anytime soon. It'd just be something to do for a bit of fun. I wouldn't ride very often. Again, just something to say I've done it, really. But yes, I do want to learn how to ride a motorbike. Next one, what is the best F1 track or my favourite? Now, I've only just started really getting into F1 for the second half of last year. I was really excited for this year's season. I was going to watch every single race. I had them written on the calendar and everything. I'm definitely going to get the new game that's been announced. That looks amazing, so that should be coming onto the channel when that comes out. But favourite F1 track, I haven't really watched many races there. I'd say, I mean, again, I've not got that much experience with F1 tracks as a whole, as my laptop decides to. I'm stumbling now. I don't know what track to pick. We'll say Spa. Spa is probably one of the best F1 tracks. It's iconic. But my favourite, because I'm British, I like Silverstone, so I'm going to say Silverstone because it's a British Grand Prix and it's, yeah, England. Right, so, would I ever expand into non-car related gaming? Potentially. I'm not going to say no, but as of right now, I'm going to try and stay automotive related, depending on what games pop up, basically. As of right now, right this second, probably not. Now that's it from YouTube, actually. So we're going to move on to the questions from Instagram. First one, am I thinking of getting a new car? There's a few different answers to this. The obvious answer is yes, because I'm always thinking of getting a new car, because I'm obsessed with looking at cars, trying to buy them and wanting them. That is my thing. I want pretty much every car on the planet. But in terms of a new car right now, no, I'm happy with the ones I've got. However, when I can afford to do so, I'd quite like to have a daily driver type thing every year or so, and just buy it, hopefully sell it on for a little bit more money after the year and just enjoy different cars in that way. But as of right this second, no, I'm not planning on getting a new car. What have I named my cars? Now, yes, my 3 cars have names. We'll just run through them quickly. The Corsa is called Carly, the MGB is called Brittany, and the Vauxhall Vectra is called Nadine. There you go. What started my passion for cars? Again, this is a difficult one to answer. It's one of those where I can't really pinpoint it onto one exact time. However, I do know there was one film that was very pivotal in my enjoyment of cars, and that is actually Cars, the 2006 Pixar film Cars, and that has a very big impact. Obviously, it came out when I was 6. I think I was 5 actually, if it came out in the summer, but 5 or 6, and it's been my favourite Disney film ever since. And I think that's probably part of the reason. Along with going to touring cars, I first went to watch British touring cars when I was, I think it was 10 or 11 years old, so something like that. And yeah, I've really enjoyed just being around cars. I've always found cars cool, so I think the passion has definitely come around in the last few years, but I think there's a lot of events in my life that have led towards that. Next question. I've lost where I am on the sheet. Right, what's the favourite out of my cars? Simply put, all of them, because that's like asking you to choose between your children. I cannot decide. I like all of them for different reasons. Very neutral answer, sorry. Next one, moving on swiftly. My favourite weather to drive in. Now, obviously, I think most people's answer to this will be sunny weather, because it just is. The road's warm, the tyres are warm, it's fun, you're happy with positive weather. However, I do quite enjoy driving in the rain. It's just something about, as long as you don't get too wet getting into your car or getting out of your car, driving in the rain is fun. The snow I've not had much experience with, however driving in the snow is always probably fun. I guess I've not driven too much in the snow, but quite like for it to snow again, because snow driving is completely different. It's a challenge basically. So pretty much all weathers, but obviously sunny is the best weather for me personally, as of most people, I think. Difficult one now. If I had all the money in the world, what car would I buy? Now, I'm going to think they're on about one car here. So if I could buy one car, and I'm going to guess I can't sell it, because if you can sell it, then obviously you'd pick a Ferrari 250 GTO, one of the really classic ones that's 30, 40, 50 million pounds. So that's what you pick if you could sell it. But if I could not sell it, again, I'd probably go for something stupidly, ridiculously expensive, because I have all the money in the world, and why not? And for me, I think a lot of people's poster cars, I mean, obviously I've got posters here, but that hypercar or that supercar that really changed the game, for me anyway, when I was growing up, was the Bugatti Veyron. I've always loved the Super Sport one. However, I would, if I had all the money in the world, buy a 16.4 Bugatti Veyron, because for me that is what changed what elevated the automotive world in my generation when I was growing up. So I've always wanted one of those, and if I had all the money in the world, that's probably the first one I'd go and buy. Next, favourite motorway to drive on. Now, motorway is also known as a highway in other parts of the world, and simply put, it's the M6 toll. And yes, if you don't know the reason for that, then I'm not going to tell you. But if you don't know the reason for that, then you know the reason for that. The M6 toll road is quite possibly the best motorway to drive on. Moving on. This question, I've simplified this question. Any car, any place, road trip. Where am I going? What car am I driving? Now, this is a difficult one. If we're talking my cars now and where I could go to now, I think I would probably take the Vectra. I think it's probably the best road trip sort of car. It's got more space. It's quick. Economical enough. Car people don't drive economic cars, simple as that. But it's got loads of space for all the stuff. I could have friends in it. I think the Vectra is probably the best car out of my 3 to go road tripping in. Any place. I've not done any road trips at all, really. So I'd love to do the North Coast 500 in Scotland. So I'd take the Vectra on the North Coast 500 in Scotland. Now, if we're talking any car in the world and any place in the world, then I would love to take, I don't know, it's difficult. I think Route 66 would be an awesome one in America, and it's unfortunate you can't drive down the whole of Route 66 now. You can do most of it, but I'd love to do what you can of Route 66, and that's in America. And for that, I'd have something American, I think. I don't know, honestly, I'd love to take a 60s Mustang. or a modern Mustang, or almost any Mustang, but preferably a 60s one or a modern one, because it's a Mustang. Honestly, I love Mustangs, and I think that that would be the perfect American road trip car, since I'm going to Route 66. So if we're talking now, we're talking Vectra and North Coast 500, and if we're talking Dream World, we're talking Ford Mustang, and we're talking Route 66. Favourite size engine, this is a peculiar one. It's kind of difficult to choose a favourite sized engine. To be honest with you, I don't know. 2.5 litre, something like that. I'll say 2.5 litre. Don't really know how to answer that question. But I am going to answer my own little question in there. Favourite sort of cylinders. 8's always fun. 4's always good. 6 is always good. And basically, it's a question for me personally. I like pretty much every car. It's difficult to answer. So we'll say 2.5 litres for that one. Any racing plans for when coronavirus is gone? Since obviously I'm not allowed to do anything now. Yes. Go-karting, or just off screen, you might be able to see a little bit of there. I have, honestly, super cheap, just go-kart stuff. It's not flame-proof or anything. The helmet's just a motorcycle helmet. It's cheap, but it's gear, it's fun, it's my own thing, and it's just for go-karting. I'd love to do go-karting. Again, don't know whether that counts as racing, but you do races in go-karting, so I'd love to do that when I'm allowed. In terms of real, actual car racing, yes, there are definitely plans. One of my goals for 2020 was to actually get my racing licence and pass an ARDS test. I did a video on the Motorsport UK Go Racing Pack. I unboxed it. It's a really, I did the video a while ago now. My videos have hopefully improved since then. But if you do want to go watch that, then go watch it. Yeah, so I would like to pass my ARDS test to start with, and that involves going on track days, learning flags, things like that. And yes, just for short-term plans, I'd like to pass my racing licence, and long-term plans, 2021, probably not going to have the money for a full season, so I'd like to do hill climbing or something along those lines. But if I had the money for a full season, then I'm just going to throw caution to the wind and try and get into some racing. So yes, racing plans definitely in the future, if I can afford it, and preferably if I can drop some weight, would be especially good for karting as well. Now, this question is basically, I've been tasked to build a car using elements from other different cars. So, I think the drivetrain, I'd probably start it on one of the old Group B rally car all-wheel drive drivetrains. Like, it was stupidly, like, you know, robust rally drivetrain, all-wheel drive, pioneers. I picked that drivetrain probably from the Audi Sport Quattro S1, I believe is what it's called. I have that drivetrain. Now, the engine to power it, this is a difficult one. Engine. I don't know, probably something big and V8, probably a crate motor or engine, whatever you want to call it, some form of Chevy LS or a Ford V8 or something like that, something big American V8, because they're always fun. So that's powering that. The body, it's a difficult one. Body, I don't know, to be honest with you. I wouldn't really mind most cars. We'll say, what should we say? Do you know what? I really don't know for the body of the car. That can be pretty much anything that's cool. The interior, probably something Bentley, Rolls Royce, something fancy, really luxurious. Do you know what? For the exterior, we'll do the actual body of it. I think. Do you know what? We'll be fun, and we'll say a Vauxhall Corsa C, because I reckon that'll be a laugh. So we'll say that. So Corsa C, powered by a big American V8 on an all-wheel drive Group B rally train with a Bentley interior. There you go. That's pretty fun. It was quite fun to do, actually. Difficult to think of, especially off the top of my head, but it's a fun question, so thanks for that one. Moving on. Which companies would I like to sponsor me in the future? Now, almost, and I say almost because I'd quite like to agree with and enjoy the products or services they are providing, but almost any sponsor at all, really, to be honest with you. If I like your product or like your service, I will happily promote it. Just as an advertisement of how good I think I am at sponsorships, I'm going to use this as an advert. What have we got? Okay, we've got a packet of crisps here. So this is the beautiful best ever flavour Walker's cheese and onion crisps, also known as Lay's in other parts of the world. They're available at any respectable retailer, and I recommend these as the best crisps on the planet. See, there you go. So I'm alright at sponsors, so if anyone wants to sponsor me, particularly automotive companies, brand manufacturers, Ford, I quite like Ford, you know, I like Vauxhall, MG are cool, pretty much anything, SsangYong, I mentioned that in the video. Anyone, basically, I'm down for any sponsorship because I am in love with the world of cars. So if anyone around the world of cars or not wants to sponsor me, that's my little audition tape. You can use that, and yeah, pretty much any sponsorship, but particularly the fun ones. Next one, I've only got a couple left now. Who do I look up to / aspire to be like in the automotive world? Racing drivers and content creators. Now again, this is a pretty big question actually, so I'm gonna basically, in terms of racing drivers, always up to Ken Block and his story. Tanner Faust is someone who's quite cool. I've always enjoyed his driving. He just done driving in films as well. I'd love to do that. Jim Clark, probably my favourite F1 driver of all time. Obviously Lewis Hamilton, what he's doing right now is spectacular. Lando Norris, probably one of my favourite, if not my favourite driver on the current Formula 1 grid. That many drivers that I look up to, and those are just a few. In terms of content creators, I love what Car Throttle are doing right now on YouTube. Top Gear and Grand Tour, do they count? The current three on Top Gear I quite like, with Harris, Flintoff and McGuinness, I quite like them. Obviously you've got Hammond, May and Clarkson on Grand Tour, and I don't know whether they count, but I'm going to count them anyway. I look up to them, I'd quite like to be like them. As well, other content creators on YouTube. Donut Media do things quite cool. I really like the way Donut Media do things with James Nolan, all the hosts on Donut Media. They're all massive channels. Sam, Seeing Through Glass, Shmee, I could rattle them off for ages, basically. Many automotive content creators I look up to, but those are just to name a few. We'd be here for hours if I carried on. Favourite racetrack, I've been excited for this one. It's either Donington Park or Alton Park. I can't really pick between the two because they're my two most local tracks, and I enjoy both of them, and that's where I had my British Touring Car Championship experiences when I was younger, and that's where I've just found my love of motorsport. So for me, they will always be some of my favourite tracks. So Donington Park and Alton Park. Best driving experience so far, and this is actually, if I'm not mistaken, yes, it is the last ever question on this quarantine. I think I'm going to call it Quarantine Q&A. Now this is probably the most difficult question of the lot to think about because I've had many fun driving experiences. I think a driving experience is not necessarily just the car or where you are. I think it's really difficult. I think driving my MG BGT for the very first time was a very good driving experience. It's probably up there. First time driving my Corsa on my own after I passed my test with no one else in the passenger seat. I stalled it 4 times at a crossroad. That was a pretty fun, or it wasn't fun at all really, but it's a fun story to look back on. Again, I think driving experience isn't just contained by the car you're driving and where you're driving it. So I think actually, do you know what? I think when I drove down to Goodwood Festival of Speed for the first time was a pretty good experience because I could not wait to experience a festival, and just driving down there was a nice fun. It was like a 200-mile drive and it was awesome. So basically those types of experiences for me anyway right now are probably my favourite. I've not had experience of any fancy amazing cars yet. I've not had any experiences on many fancy amazing roads, so probably the trip down to Goodwood, driving the AMG for the first time and stalling my Corsa 4 times at a crossroads was probably my best driving experiences so far because I think I've learnt the most from them and I've had the most joy from them in terms of the Goodwood. So that's probably a really complicated answer, but it's a difficult one for anyone really to answer, best driving experience, especially if you are into cars like I am. So that is it from me for the Q&A. I've answered every single question I got asked. Again, didn't get asked on Twitter, so if you're not following me on Twitter as well, make sure you do follow. Links to my Twitter and Instagram are going to be in the description. And hopefully I've not missed any of the links that I've promised are in the description. Hopefully I've put them all in. And yeah, that's it from me in today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'd quite like to do more Q&As in the future. Let me know if you enjoyed my answers. And yeah, I try to do this in one take. For me personally, I prefer Q&As, or at least doing the Q&As in one long take. I think it means the answers are more genuine and things like that. So again, if you prefer me to edit the next Q&A, I'll do more, or keep it as one take like this. Again, also let me know. Again, that's it from me. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're not already. Again, you've got a 50 subscriber special coming as soon as I can leave the house. And yeah, that's again is it from me. I'm struggling to plug things now. Check out our links in the description, check out the rest of my channel, all that sort of stuff. And that's it. I'm going to end the video now because I've already gone on for too long in this outro. So I'll see you in the next one, and stay safe.